Hi, this is the One True Divine Feminine Tarot and Psychic Investigations website. Welcome here. We're a place where we spread light and love and angelic vibes across the universe. And not only do we do that, but we also help to solve crimes. And I did use astrology to solve my very own crime. So, anyhow, we're here today to take a look at what the cards have to say. And we start with the Seven of Swords, which is the card of futility. Has a lot to do with turmoil, conflict, information coming in from all directions, a lot of stealth, things happening in a hidden fashion, scam jobs, manipulations, everything going at cross purposes. You can see all the chaotic energy here. It's as if, there's intentional efforts to keep the truth hidden. And that's what this card is all about. And yet, we're here to help reveal the truth. That's part of what we're doing. And we have a nice conjunction in the sky today of Mercury conjunct Venus. And that's going to help to bring light to some of the lies that have been told, because Mercury is all about communications. Venus has everything to do with the things we love, not only love partners, but resources, money, contracts, business deals, anything truly that we value. So we have that energy in the sky today. So we're going to try to get rid of the futility, try to bring in better things, and also help solve crimes at the same time. And so I think that's really a nice thing. Now, the other thing with Mercury and Venus and Sagittarius, it can be about bringing truth to some spiritual practices, or speaking truth about things, or truths being revealed about certain religions. That is another symbology, possibility for Mercury and Venus and Sagittarius. And it's also about speaking your truth, right? And women of my age, we want to get to the truth. We're the Empress. We've been through a lot of the other queens in the deck. It's our time to shine. It's our time to tap into that moon energy here, to bring the wisdom of what we've learned to the universe, right? And in doing so, we've been protected by a very strong shield, the FBI, because we have some empresses and high priestesses right now who are under attack because of some of the truths that they have uncovered, right? And yet it's all about bringing good things to fruition in the earth. That's what the Empress is all about. And the purpose for all of this is to begin a bold, new, creative journey on the planet, blessed by the Most High. You can see the wands here, the fire, the inspiration. There's usually a lot of joy, a lot of excitement on going on a new path, a lot of creativity, can be a new romance, but it's about getting things started, right? And you have that fiery inspiration here. And I know that's going to happen pretty soon because we have a new moon in Sagittarius coming on November 23rd. It has very configurations that could bring in a big windfall of money, possibly a new contract, or a deal, some kind of business deal. So an adventure with passion and excitement and a new start. I love that energy. And of course, the purpose for that is to have success, and not just success for oneself. It's always nice to do well for yourself, but it's nice to be able to do things that are good for the planet too, to bring in the discs, right? And be able to share that with the world, and help people on their own paths, especially in places where people are struggling, and be able to have that earthly success that makes us all successful, right? Because we have so many billionaires in this world that don't do anything to give back. It's all about getting more, 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 more. But sometimes it's really good to be able to take what you don't need and put it back in, so it circulates back around, so we can make a better world. And that's a good thing. And it's a good time to reflect on this because we do have Jupiter moving backwards in Pisces retrograde. So it's a time to daydream on how do we bring success into our lives. Does it look like daydreaming, creative projects? How do we connect with God? Pisces has a lot to do with that God energy, and Jupiter expands anything that it touches upon. There is very much a creative adventure involved with Pisces, and daydreaming often has a lot to do with it. So just, tapping into that good energy of both Jupiter and Pisces and finding a great path to the divine and reflecting on that while we're going retrograde so that we can bring in the success due to us all. And of course, along the way, it's been hard at times. We have the 10 of Wands. Hasn't always been easy. It's been a hard journey with a lot of burdens, right? And yet, we're going through the burdens, we're carrying the load, we're getting through things, and we're going to be successful. We're going to soon be able to put down these burdens. Now, there are some things happening because of the eclipse on November 8th that's going on. We had a square from Saturn to Uranus. That stopped some people on their journey flat out, right? Because we had some people that were doing some nefarious things. Saturn, which represents laws, rules, regulations, police, things of hierarchy, came in and stopped that stuff from happening. So, Uranus wants to go get things, wants to have maverick energy, wants to go forward with new ideas or just to do whatever they want to do. But when you have a square to Saturn, sometimes that stuff gets put a halted right on. Okay. So, and that kind of energy is going to go on for the next 6 months. That energy could also have to do with new ideas and old ideas coming into conflict. We have old traditional ways of going about reaching our creator and our divine maker, and we have new ideas like New Age spirituality represented by Uranus, and sometimes those come into conflict. Other things that could be represented by the November 8th eclipse could have to do with shakeups in the banking industry, because it's also a square between Taurus and Capricorn. So Taurus is about the earth, earthly matters, things we love. Capricorn, rules, regulations, jointly banking. So there could be some shakeups in the banking industry. There could be some stock market sudden changes or upheaval. Could have to do with shakeups literally on the earth, like earthquakes and tremors and violent storms, often caused by things spooling out from climate change, right? So these are the things that we can look forward to in the next 6 months. So we're still kind of working with some of the oppressive energy, and that square with Saturn is part of the reason. But hiding in the background, there is a good Hierophant, an upright guy who is tapped in to the high energy of God. And when he's tapped in like this, his heart center is wide open and he has good plans for people. He tries to be a truly godlike person. And I've always been really good with truly godlike people. When people are in the upright doing the right thing, it's beautiful energy, right? And he's trying to bring wisdom down to earth. He's been working behind the scenes helping. I know that, and I'm so very, very grateful. I mean, really, truly grateful. And when he's in the upright, it's like he has all the power in the world behind him. And so I'm so blessed to have this person helping me in my life. Right now, when people are like this, well, that energy isn't necessarily as good, right? Because this guy walks his walk and talks his talk, right? He's doing the right thing. He's not saying one thing and doing another. And that's what makes him priceless in the universe, right? We should all walk our walk and speak our truth, right? And try to do good things in the world. And part of what I think he and other people have been helping me to do is to cut through all of the lies, the slander, the illusions, the spellcraft that's been happening, which is represented by this cloud of fog down here that's been just murking things up, something terrible, right? However, the sword of truth is coming out. The illusions are getting cut away. The truth is coming forward. And this woman here, the Queen of Swords, is moving to higher ground, right? She's able to get beyond the lies, the slander, and the untruths that were told, and is coming out into the sunlight. And I love that energy. And of course, the goal for that is to bring more stability, right? Four of Wands, sort of a sense of being on solid ground, of bringing in what you love with the sign of Venus and Aries. So bringing things in rapidly that help to stabilize the world. And isn't that a nice thing? And again, that could all happen on the Sagittarius new moon, which begins on the 23rd. There's a very nice configuration in the sky for new beginnings, for business contracts and deals, and possibly windfalls of money happening. But it all relies on getting rid of the devil, right? That energy that keeps us stuck, that binds us to things, that keeps us tied to situations that are not serving us well, either as a nation, as humanity, or even as a person. And people tend to think of the devil or this energy, or death, I'm sorry, as such a harsh energy. And yet, really, what he's doing is he's cutting away the strings and the ties that bind. And the whole purpose for that is to make room for the new, for the exciting, for the things that are working, for the joy, for the new paths, for all of the positive things to come pouring in. So sometimes certain things have to die in order for new things to be born. All right. And that can be a great energy, right? I love that. Now, that means that we have to get rid of the devil, right? The things that do bind us in bad ways. Um, you know, drugs, alcohol, addictions, gambling problems, owing money to the mob, um, taking money to do something and then being held accountable if you can't get it done. Those kinds of things can cause so much turmoil and disaster in the world. And so part of the death is to try to get rid of the devil, right? So that the light and beauty of the universe can come on in. And of course, at the One True Divine Feminine and Psychic Investigators Tarot, that's what we're all about. Helping to solve crimes, getting rid of the devil, trying to bring truth and decency down to the world so the light of God can shine on everybody's back, right? And the reason for that is so that we can bring in happiness, right? 10 of Cups, a good emotional situation, golden. Things are overflowing with love and joy and happiness and enough to share, right? That's the goal of this kind of energy, to bring in good things. And that's kind of representative of that Jupiter retrograding back into Pisces, right? Jupiter's very benefic planet. It wants to bring good things. In retrograde, it wants you to think about what makes you happy. What do you need to do to connect to the Almighty, right? Pisces is very much to do with the God energy in our universe. Has a lot to do also with daydreams and dreams and creativity, possibly music, things like that. Certainly, the one thing you don't want to have happen is it to represent drugs and alcohol, which can also be indicated by Pisces. And you especially don't want that if Jupiter's involved, because Jupiter blows up everything it touches, right? So it isn't always beneficial. If it touches something really bad, it can blow up that which is bad. So we want to focus on that which is good and healing and loving and kind and beneficial for our world, right? And to get to that point, sometimes you have to kind of be in a waiting mode. The Hanged Man. Looks like you're nailed to a cross here, just waiting for good things to happen. And yet you are tapped in. You have the matrix in a good way working behind you to help bring good things forward so that you can use the wisdom that you have. And you can see the wisdom trying to come in through this person's head and transform a situation. And snakes often are very healing or transformative in nature in tarot. Now, of course, there are also snakes in the grass. So you do have to kind of pay attention to that, right? And try to get the best use out of that transformation. But sometimes that means you have to go through the dark night of the soul, right? The difficulties, the Three of Swords, the things that don't serve, the things that you do have to cut out, fake third-party situations, gloomy things, murky things that are, again, trying to bind you to the devil, right? things that are not a part of who you really are, but you have to get rid of them in order to get past this point. And right now, part of getting past this point is the square from Saturn that happened on the eclipse on November 8th, right? Uranus wants to step on the gas. It wants to make new things happen. It wants to bring in maverick energy, think outside of the box, get things started and going. Saturn wants to put a cap on all that. So we have kind of a square going on between tradition, hierarchy, the old way of doing things, and new energy wanting to flow in. And there's a square. And so some people are really opposed to new ideas coming out because it's challenging, right? And so, how do we get past this challenge so that people can be able to tap into the divine any way that they want to, right? Um, the Saturn also hit some people pretty hard because they were trying to do some pretty nefarious things right around the eclipse. And Saturn put a hammer on that. And that could be law enforcement stopping people dead in their tracks, rules and regulations stopping people dead in their tracks, capping things, slowing things down, making sure you dot your I's and cross your T's. That's what Saturn is all about. And again, from an Earth perspective, it could mean this collision of energy could equate to earthquakes, tremors, other violent storms. And because Taurus and Capricorn are involved, it also could have to do with shakeups in the banking industry or difficulties between the banking industry and cryptocurrency. And that's something that really needs to be watched right now, all the way up until 2023, because people are trying to do very illegal things with cryptocurrency. So, trying to get that under control with rules and regulations is super important right now. So we have also the art card. I like this. It's like the yin and yang symbol, balancing the opposites, the light and the dark, the male, the female, the opposites. We've got the fire and the water, the light beast, the dark beast. It's all about alchemy, about taking the good and the bad, mixing it together, and coming up with something so much better, right? And I think our world is in a little turmoil too. I think with the upright Hierophant, for example, people don't realize that Hierophants and people like the High Priestess have so much more in common than you could ever possibly realize. It's just a new way of going about things, right? And it's about trying to bring in the new, let people understand what's going on, and letting people know that, one's not right, one's not wrong, one's not better, one's not bad. It's really about alchemizing or bringing in the opposites, because everybody connects to God in a different fashion, right? And along the way, we've had a lot of very official looking people helping with this. We got the Emperor. You can tell this is a tapped in guy, right? He's been through all the male cards in the deck. It looks like he's got his coins here, right? He's chilling. He's relaxed. He's got a shield of protection. He's got his wand. He's representing the state. Here's the flag. This could be good judges, good FBI agents, good law enforcement officials, people who are trying to burn away that which no longer serves and help to bring in the truth. It could also be a king of a country, president, somebody in authority, right? You do have a lamb, which makes me tend to think of Capricorn energy, right? So a leader, a male leader of some sort. And the whole purpose for all of this is to get to the heart of a matter, right? To pierce the veil and to come up with the truth. We have 6 swords here. They're all pointing inward, and it's how do we get to the truth of the matter? People come at this information trying to reach the divine in different ways, but at the center, all of us are seeking the same thing, right? We're just looking in a different way. And how do we get to a point of understanding and not getting caught so much in the chaos, but finding ways to communicate, because we have Mercury up here, so that again we can all find our path to God peacefully, right? That's a good goal, I believe. Now we have the two of discs. It has the feeling of infinity, of change, of opportunity, of choices and jobs. It's got Jupiter and Capricorn, so very much, work related stuff and bringing the discs home. And with the November 23rd new moon in Sagittarius, this is going to be very possible, not only to bring in a windfall of money, but also new business deals and opportunities. And the snake, again, here is very transformative, trying to make things work so it's very benefic and beneficial to not only an individual, but to the planet. Okay, here we have the High Priestess. Some people have called me that. I don't know if it really applies. I do have a way of tapping into the divine through intuition and dreams and astrology, right? Seeing behind the veil, tapping into the moon energy here, trying to connect with the cosmos through hypnotherapy and various things. But the whole goal is to bring that cosmic energy and light rays down to bring fruition onto the earth. But to do that, sometimes you have to go through hard times. And this camel here represents going through like a burning desert, right? Without much to go on except for what you have inside of you. That camel has water to get through the worst times. And sometimes you have to go through the dark night of the soul to be able to birth new things and bring that angelic vibe down to the universe. And for the good people helping, and I know there have been great hierophants, somebody I wanted to meet early on, right, who I got blocked from meeting because the devil doesn't really want good things to manifest on earth. They want good things to manifest for themselves, but not for the planet in general. But this person is helping to clear away blocks because he's an upright guy, right? He's working to bring cosmic light in. And when he's in the upright, his heart center is lit up and he is a good human being. When he's more like this, okay, now this isn't so good, right? This is somebody who maybe shows the talisman, but does completely different stuff behind the scenes. But this is a truly godly person. And we should all be pleased with truly godlike people, right? Who are trying to bring decency back to the planet in a good fashion. I'm good with that, especially when they're supportive of women. I really appreciate that more than I could say. And I like to be supportive of good, strong men when they're using their power wisely. All right, here we have the Hermit. And of course, to get to the point that I'm at as the divine feminine that everybody's been mimicking and copying, I had to go through a dark night of the soul, right? You can see the darkness out here. And what did I have to rely on? The help of good people, tarot card readers, spiritual advisors, FBI agents, real police, real judges, people who are really doing their job to bring light to the earth. And I had to tap into my own inner resources to overcome this dark night of the soul, right? Because I want to birth something new in my own life and in our country, something beautiful, something that works for everybody. And it might require splitting up, having territories, doing things outside of the box. But one thing we know is the dark night of the soul is not fun, and we don't want to stay there, because in the dark night of the soul, we have snakes that are not safe. We have werewolves chasing us, bad things happening where you're always constantly looking over your shoulder to see what's coming next. And what we want is a bright, beautiful future for the US of A. And that means we have to work together to solve the problems that we have, right? It's all about working together, getting past the big lies and the cheating and all of that stuff that's not serving us as humanity. All right, now let's try a few cards, oracle cards. We've got Pele's Summons. I have been in Hawaii. I loved it. I got to watch New Earth being formed. It was absolutely magical. And you can see the rivers of lava flowing and New Earth being formed. And also this connection that gives you to the creator of our planet, right? Who draws on these wild and unimaginably powerful forces to create the ebb and flow of our universe through ocean currents and the formation of lava and the photosynthetic cycle and all of the things we tend to not pay attention to until they start going awry. And yet I got to witness this happening in Hawaii with new earth being formed and the lava flowing straight into the ocean, and it was amazing. Truly amazing. Perception, piercing things behind the veil. I know as the high priestesses tend to go about things a little bit differently. We do tap into intuition. We tap into astrology. We tap into the dream state, which sometimes I have had dreams that are very prophetic. And we try to connect with God through hypnotherapy and other modalities that help us to journey with our mind and reach that godlike energy. And it works really well for those of us that practice it. And it can be very healing and very connective, right? Just a beautiful energy. One of the dreams I had recently was about 3 abominable snowmen. And they were very scary looking, I mean, terrifying looking. And I was out by myself, except for my cat, who was in my arms. And I was on a mountain path in the dark. And I had to make a choice. I could go left on the trail all by myself with the cat up through the mountains, or I could go right down the mountainside straight into the raging pack of abominable snowmen, 3 of them. And I bet the FBI could tell you who those snowmen are. However, on this path, I had a silent partner who was helping. And that silent partner for me could have been any number of people. It could have been FBI agents, police, um, King of Swords. It could have been the Hierophant, the godlike man who's helping me behind the scenes. I heard there's a Hispanic man that went into some covens to knock some ass. And I don't know who all my silent partners are, but oh my God, how grateful I am for each and every one of you, for that truly upright, godlike, decent, brave, valorous nature. So thankful, right? And this silent partner in the dream went into the pack of snowmen first and broke up the energy. And then I was able to go through with my cat safely. I still had to deal with the monsters, but they weren't there like lurking like linebackers. And I was also gifted by the fact on this journey I was given like iron-like legs, like Iron Man. So anyhow, I know that dream is significant, as are many dreams, and it's all about reading the symbology, right? And part of that is, again, going inwards, learning about yourself, finding that inner wisdom and inner light. And of course, that's what we're all about at the One True Divine Feminine and Psychic Investigations Tarot. And I do love to tap into the energies of the universe this way, not only with cards, but with astrology, because your spiritual DNA is truly listed in the stars. And it's a matter of learning about yourself, not to do bad in the world. It's never meant to tap in and do evil things like, disrupt a person's work or to harm their marriage or to hurt their path forward. It's meant to help provide wisdom, right? Help people to connect to their higher selves, help them to let their light shine out into the world and to have beauty and for them to go forward on the best path forward, which we should all want for each other. And again, when we're in the upright position, wanting the best for all people, then we have such a lovely situation here on earth. All right, we're going to see if this worked. God bless everybody who's helping me. I'm certainly trying. I don't know if this is working or not, but thank you all for keeping me alive. I appreciated it more than I could ever say.